We need your help. My name is Tasha Yar. I was Chief Tactical Officer of the USS Enterprise D. In my timeline, we were fighting a war against the Klingons, and I was proud to do my part to protect the Federation. What I learned, though, in the correct timeline, history as it should be, I died a meaningless death. I accepted the risks when I put on the uniform, and I don't regret what happened. But if I'm going to die, I want it to mean something. That's why I chose to go back with the Enterprise C. I know this is a lot to accept, but you have to trust us.
I haven't seen you around here before, Captain. Got a minute to talk? Call me Castillo. Not a lot to tell, I guess. I'm Lieutenant J.G. Richard Castillo, Helm Officer of the USS Enterprise C, an unwilling time traveler. I'm normally the Helm Officer, but I'm Senior Officer now that Captain Garrett and the rest of the senior staff are gone. We've got to do what the Captain would want. Get us back to where we belong, and finish what we set out to do. I know this is hard to... I know. I asked around about you, and I don't know if I'm supposed to be telling you this, but I need your help. You're not supposed to be here. None of us are. Not in this timeline, I mean. My ship, my crew. We were supposed to do something important. We went through an anomaly, moved through time, and everything changed. We tried to go back. I guess the battle with the Klingons disrupted the anomaly. Instead of getting back where we belong, we ended up here with the Tholians running everything. I'd never even seen a Tholian before. You have to help us set things right. You have to help us get back to our ship. Me and my crew. There are a little over 100 of us here, scattered throughout the work camp. We're about 65 years ahead of where we should be, according to my math. We were fighting the Romulans. This was back in 2344. And the weapons discharges caused a temporal rift. We passed through, and because we weren't at Narendra to do what we were supposed to do, the timeline changed. We ended up in a timeline where the Federation and the Klingon Empire were at war, and the Federation was losing, badly. We tried to go back to set things right, but then the Klingons found us and the Enterprise D, and there's someone here with us from that timeline. Her name is Tasha. I'll take you to her. Maybe she can help explain this. Got a minute to talk? Call me Castillo. Not a lot to tell, I guess. I know this is hard to accept, but we're not supposed...
We need your help. I'm from Starfleet, and if I'm right, that's a name that should ring bells with you as well. In an alternate timeline from this one, the correct one, Starfleet is still alive and well, and you're a Starfleet officer too. When the Enterprise C moved ahead in time, it created an alternate timeline, one in which I was alive but shouldn't have been. I left with the Enterprise to set things right. We thought we were returning to the Narendra system in 2344 to defend the Klingon colony there from a Romulan attack. We ended up in this nebula in 2409. The Tholians caught us before we could try again, and you can guess the rest. We're going to try to restore the timeline, but to do so, we need the Enterprise C. It's still in the hangar here, and as soon as we get back to her, we'll find the temporal rift and get back to where and when we're supposed to be. To do that, we need your help. Franklin Drake is already helping us. He managed to get an access key used to operate the systems in the hangar control room. We need you to get the code from Drake and use it to open the doors to the hangar control room. I'd go myself, but we've already been here a week. The Tholians know we're trying to get back to the ship. They're watching us. But you're new. They won't suspect you're involved. That's the idea, at least. Of course, it's not as simple as getting the code and opening the door. The Tholians have guards on all critical areas. You'll need to slip past the guards and get into the maintenance tunnels. From there, it's a winding maze to the hangar control room, which can only be unlocked from the inside. Once you get in, you'll be able to open the doors. We'll be waiting there to help you free the Enterprise. Here, take this communicator. It's on a scrambled frequency the Tholians don't monitor, and it'll allow me to contact you while you're on the move. Maybe you can convince someone to cause a distraction. That might make slipping past the guards into the tunnels easier. Well done. Those maintenance tunnels are a maze. They make navigating the Jeffries tubes on the Enterprise look easy. I recommend using the map to keep track of where you've been, what doors lead away from which room, and where you are currently. Tholian's in the control room. When they're in there, they pump in a Tholian-friendly atmosphere and raise the temperature. It will kill us if we try to enter. You'll need to replace the methane-based atmosphere with something we can breathe, and lower the ambient temperature in the control room before we can continue as planned. The Tholians are very precise. They want to learn everything they can about the ships they're capturing. All rooms connected to the hangars have their atmospheres exchanged to prevent damage to the systems they're dismantling for study. Also, sometimes they force humanoids to do the work for them, so they'll pump in something we can handle.
We need to work together. What do you want me to do? I was the helm officer on the Enterprise before everything went to hell, but I'm really handy with heavy machinery, like those clamps holding the ship. I know I can take care of those and get us free. If you need me to do something else, maybe I could work on that web shield. It will need to come down before we can fly out of here. Or the ship's power. I know every inch of the old girl. If I could figure out the Tholian interface, I might be able to connect to the ship and restore the power remotely. We need to work together. What do you want me to do?
I am here to assist. What do you require? My first posting in Starfleet was to an ambassador-class vessel. I am familiar with most of the ship's systems, but I spent several months working on a refit of the ship's computer. I am confident I can restore the ship's power levels quickly. Also, I do have some experience with Tholian technology from my time in the Resistance. If you prefer, I could attempt to deactivate the web shield or tractor beams. I am here to assist. What do you require?
We don't have much time. I know a few tricks to take that tractor beam system offline. I'm also fairly confident that with enough time, I can release the docking clamps holding the ship or take down the Tholian's web shielding. We don't have much time.
That's my job. The details aren't important. Restoring the timeline is. Get moving. The Tholians are already starting to regroup. I'm sure you've realized by now, you're part of a very different timeline. This one is an aberration that we are here to correct. It would be irresponsible of us to let you go back in time with the Enterprise C, and compromise that timeline as well. We'll send you back to your time. There are still some very important events in the 25th century that you need to be a part of. As soon as the Enterprise C returns to its correct place in history, the timeline should right itself.